Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we've got a bit of an interesting topic for you here today, sent over from a Patreon supporter who wanted me to talk about the importance of boundaries. Now, I don't care if you're one of the men who watch this channel, and I don't care if you are one of the 6 women who watch this channel, guys. I'm a believer that boundaries are important for everybody. And now, thanks to womanism and thanks to the eradication that has been happening to fathers, not a lot of people in 2022 have boundaries, and there are a lot of crazy people walking around, guys. Like, you see the women that we play at the beginning of some of these episodes, guys, and these are the type of individuals who, if you allow them into your life, they will just straight up ruin it. So on today's episode, we're going to be going through some of the reasons why boundaries are so important and why it's important for you guys to start to value yourselves. Now, before we jump into it, guys, bit of a shout out, bit of an announcement here. We are slowly expanding Fiend Gang, okay? Old Taylor here, gentlemen. I'm becoming an old vampire, and I'm getting a little bit burnt out on videos, so I am recruiting content creators, guys. And with that being said, I just want to give a shout out to our first content creator who will be joining more so officially. And his name is Detective Warg, guys. I'm going to get my editor to put a thing up on screen right now. His videos will be coming up shortly, guys, as he practices and gets into it. Make sure you go and drop him a subscribe, guys. He's going to be pumping out daily content for you, gentlemen. So feel free to enjoy. If you're someone who's interested in applying to become a content creator, we still have some applications open. We're in the process of bringing people on board who would like to make their own videos and kind of join me up here on YouTube. With all of that being said, guys, shills out of the way, let's jump into the first reason why boundaries are so important, okay? And the first reason that I have written down here is that boundaries are what keep bad people out of your life, okay? I don't know, man, if there's anything that gives men bigger headaches than the people that they choose to invite into their lives. Like, I see dudes out here and they'll say stuff like, oh, I don't know what to say to this girl, she's being a pain in my neck, right? Or I don't know what to do in this situation, or all of this. And a lot of the solutions to these problems that men have is that you shouldn't even be in the situation anyway. Like, let's just cut the crap, guys. Why are you taking a single mother seriously? Okay, why are you taking a girl with pink dyed hair who's clearly psychotic seriously? You know what I'm saying? Like, guys will just go with anything. And guys, here's the thing, like, I understand, because the problem is that a lot of dudes, they don't even have any options, right? Most people just treat them like crap by default. We already know that most women perceive most men to be totally invisible. So guys, like, when they get something, they want to hang on to it. But gentlemen, there is so much more peace in your life to be had that comes with not putting up with headaches and not putting up with certain behaviors. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times, right, that I will get on, I'll start making a video, my editor will have a Reddit story lined up for me to cover, and I'll read the story and I'll be frustrated because I'm like, why is the dude even in this situation to begin with? Okay, you got dudes out here who will be hitting the gym 5-6 days a week, looking shredded as hell, they're making 6 figures, and they're putting up with a girl who's just incredibly psychotic for no reason at all. Okay, the ability to express your boundaries, gentlemen, is so damn important, and like, you will save yourself so much, if anything, so much sleep. Like, I don't understand the idea that dudes would rather be out here, and women as well, giving themselves a headache, right, rather than just being alone and focusing on other things that are more important. Like, guys, I would rather take any day of the damn week, being by myself, just chilling, recording videos for you guys, having a nice cup of tea, than putting up with someone who's just an absolute headache to me. Okay, and that's the first reason I have here, guys, which is that boundaries are what keep bad people out of your life. Right? It's important to distance yourself from people who are only going to cause headaches and who are only going to cause problems. And like, I'll do a video on red flags to do with, relationships and friends and stuff like that, guys. But it really is important not to ignore red flags. Like, there are plenty of content creators on this side of the internet who will give you a big list of red flags and stuff like that, and a lot of the issues that men have really come from the fact that dudes will just ignore these things because, like, a girl is pretty, or because their friend is super nice to them and crap like that, and then like a year down the line, the dude's on the on the ropes for losing his house because he got married and stuff like that. I saw a girl the other day, gentlemen, a friend of mine, I don't really know this girl at all, but a friend of mine, she's just totally psychotic, and she's out here trying to get married to a dude. In fact, I think she's engaged to a dude within 3 months of knowing him. Right? Like, why on earth you would ever do that to yourself as a dude in particular, I have absolutely no idea. Just putting yourself on the ropes to lose everything. This girl's just like a litterance of red flags from what I understand. So that's the first reason that I have there, guys. And we've got two more reasons. And then I'm going to go into what unhealthy boundaries look like, so you guys can kind of avoid having unhealthy boundaries. So the next point that I have here, and this is my favorite point, guys. This is the best point ever for having healthy boundaries, and that is that it frees up a lot of your time. Okay, dudes will waste so much of their damn time, for people who are just straight up not deserving of it and not appreciative of it. I know dudes who have wasted like a decade of their damn life taking care of a kid that's not even theirs, only to be treated like absolute garbage by the woman and her friends and stuff like that. And a lot of these dudes, right, to go further on that example, a lot of the dudes who will get themselves in a situation like this, they'll think that the woman's friends are his friends as well, right? But then you'll get to the end of the relationship and you'll figure out that's not really the case and that's not how it works, okay? But a lot of these situations, guys, it's like, man, if you have boundaries, you save yourself so much damn time, right? It is actually so important, guys. I don't think a lot of people understand this, but it is very, very important in your life to push away people who are not good for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to push away people who are not interested in you and who are not going to make your life easy. Like, guys, let me make a case right here, okay? If I were to sit here and I were to try and make videos, like making everybody happy and making everybody like the video, I'd get nowhere, right? Because nobody would be fans of the channel. Nobody would want to watch it because it would feel like people-pleasing garbage, okay? And it would just be incredibly inauthentic, right? It's really important to weed out the people who are going to be a headache for you anyway. And a lot of people will look at it like, excuse me if you can hear my phone there, right? A lot of people will look at it like, oh, well, I don't want to remove this person from my life because I have no friends. Or I don't want to remove this person from my life because that means I'll have to wait another year before I can potentially get another girlfriend. And my answer to that, guys, is who the hell cares? You know, if you're with someone who's an absolute pain in your neck, there's no point in being with them at all. I would rather take the free time that comes with actually having some boundaries, guys. You know, and it's interesting to me, right? I'll hear girls say this like, oh, I don't want to be alone. This is a funny one, and this is kind of where men and women differ, right? Is girls will be like, oh, I put up with this bad behavior because I don't want to be alone. But the funny thing is, women in particular have far more options in terms of friends and romantic partners than men ever will. It's not that you don't, like, yeah, you don't want to be alone, but really it's just the dude's attractive to you, and that's why you're putting up with the crappy behavior. So let's cut the garbage there. It's like men and women, they have the same problem, kind of, but it comes from different places. Like, a girl will never be alone in the same way that a dude's alone. And I've made that point many times on the channel, guys. You already know if you watch these videos. Like, I've made this point before, but like, a woman's version of being alone is not at all the same thing as a dude's version of being alone. Like, you ask dudes what it means to be alone and they'll tell you, you know, nobody's sitting up their phone for a year, crap like that, nobody wants to see them, stuff like this. But if you're a girl, man, and especially like if you don't eat McDonald's and you take a bath, you're completely fine, right? But let's continue on to the next reason here, and this one's quite good, and this is that it gives you a lot of confidence, right? And the reason why it gives you a lot of confidence, guys, is because you become an individual where you just don't accept bullcrap. Now, that doesn't mean that you're rude or awful to people. Like, when people cross your boundaries and stuff like that, guys, it's not an excuse to go and yell at them or have an argument or anything like that. All you have to do is walk away from the individual. You don't actually have to do anything other than stop talking to them. I'll see Reddit posts and dudes saying crap like, oh, how do I leave this terrible relationship? I really don't like the girl, but I'm struggling to leave. And I'm like, bro, all you have to do is just like remove her contact from your phone and stop talking to her, you know, unless you guys have kids or something like that. But it's really not that difficult, guys. Like, just stop talking to people. You know, it's not that difficult to leave these situations. Like, I wish more people would take it on board, excuse me, that it's a terrible idea to stay with people who are just straight up awful for you. I don't know why people just continue to stay and stuff like that. I get that they feel attached to certain individuals, but it really is just, you're doing so much harm to yourself in the process that it's quite disgusting to me, guys. Like, it shows a lack of self-respect if you're unable to leave these certain types of situations. So I hope, like, if there's one dude who watches this video and like leaves an awful relationship, I'll be more than happy with that result. But that's the last one, guys, is it gives you a sense of confidence, right? Because you understand that if people cross your boundaries and the things that, you know, you won't tolerate, you know that you're going to remove them and your life is going to be easier for having done so. Like, it's not as if it's a bad task or as if it's something bad to do. It's like, kind of like cleaning up your room. You know, it's no skin off of your back. You just get a cleaner room. So why on earth would you complain about it? If anything, a lot of the times, if you're someone who has healthy boundaries and you work on yourself, oftentimes it's the other person's loss. Now, I don't say that, you know, with the idea that everyone watching this video is a perfect human being or anything like that, myself included, right? But, you know, more often than not, if you're working on yourself and you've got boundaries in place, guys, and you're a healthy person, more often than not, it's the other person's loss, to be honest with you. Now, guys, let's jump into what some unhealthy boundaries look like, and then we'll jump into today's dating profile. And I believe I have a Reddit story also pulled up for you guys here today. So one of the things that unhealthy boundaries look like, for example, is just, this goes back into the first point, but just allowing anybody into your life, okay? I made this point, I think it was like last video, but just because a girl is pretty or a dude's attractive and stuff like that, it does not mean that they are a good person. And a lot of people will be inclined to let people into these lives, into their lives, even though the individual could be straight up psychotic. Like, older dudes and dudes who have been around the block a few times, they know and they will tell you that women who are highly attractive are often crazy as hell. Absolutely crazy as hell. And it doesn't mean that you should just let them into your life. Like, a lot of dudes will overlook the craziness and just let them into their life because she's pretty or because she's hard to replace in some aspect. Like, maybe she cooks or does something cool for you that you really like or something like that. And they'll be unwilling to replace these individuals or unwilling to drop them, and they'll just allow anybody into their life. And this is a gateway, guys, to being treated like absolute crap, being treated terribly and stuff like that. Like, all of these things, what you'll notice, guys, is when you allow a behavior into your life, it's not as if you're just allowing that one behavior, right? When I did that video recently on manipulation, guys, I was talking about manipulation and how over time it ramps up and it gets worse and worse. It's kind of like the same thing for boundaries. If you're someone who fails to put in place a boundary the first time an action is done, you can expect that behavior to only get worse and worse and probably like manifest itself in a bunch of different ways. I don't mean to use that awful word right there, manifest. How disgusting, right? But a lot of the times, if you fail to put in place a boundary, the behavior is just going to get worse over time, and the person's going to include more and more poor behaviors. So that's the first one of what an unhealthy boundary looks like, is just allowing anybody into your life, even if maybe you know that they're terrible for you at the time. Another thing is compromising yourself for the sake of others in an unhealthy way. Now, guys, I'm not against compromise, okay? I don't think relationships on any level, you know, friendship or otherwise, should be a dictatorship or something where you just command and tell people what to do. Of course not, right? A lot of relationships, people don't want to compromise in 2022, and it's really disgusting. It's kind of like, you know, all of these entitled people out here just straight up like, girls will be out here ditching a dude, right, because one of his ears looks funny or some crap like that, or he's too short, and like, nobody wants to compromise on anything, and it's just the most disgusting crap you'll ever see. But I see a lot of men going out here and compromising themselves for the sake of others in an unhealthy way for absolutely no reason at all. One example that I can pull up of this just right off the bat is dudes who will come into women's lives and voluntarily just decide that they are okay being a stepfather. I don't understand why dudes are out here just self-cucking themselves for women who are 30 plus years of age, who have an incredible amount of baggage, oftentimes debt and terrible behavior, for nothing in return. And the situations don't get they don't get better over time. Like, if you're a dude and you go out here and you compromise yourself for the sake of others in an unhealthy way, it's not as if the situations get better over time, because a lot of people will start to treat you as an underfoot figure. or someone who's just always going to be there for them and stuff like that. Like, guys, one of the things that I don't think men understand is, like, if you're too available, people are going to treat you like you're permanently available and you should always be there for them. Like, if you're always responding to their messages, always just instantly available, always willing to do what they want, you're going to get yourself into some pretty awful situations. So that's another unhealthy boundary, guys. And what it looks like is compromising yourself for the sake of others. Maybe that's also compromising your time, whatever the case may be. And the next thing that an unhealthy boundary looks like is sharing too much too soon. Okay, I think a lot of women in particular are guilty of this, but guys will obviously do this as well. But basically, like, nobody cares, right? I don't think a lot of dudes understand that, like, when you're, like, women just don't care, dudes. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, a lot of men as well, don't care either. Like, people will go on first dates with each other and they'll just sit there rambling about how fantastic their life is and the promotion that they got at work and all of this kind of crap. And the other person's sitting there thinking, like, okay, you know, like, I didn't really ask, but, like, why are you, or, like, this is what happened to me when I was a kid, excuse me. So not so much the work stuff, that's my bad there, but, like, more of oh, this is what happened to me when I was a kid, or this is how my ex-husband or ex-girlfriend treated me, or I'm looking for this. All the single mothers, man, 35 years of age, going out on dates like, oh, my ex has treated me terribly, I'm just looking for a real guy. All of this kind of crap, just trauma dumping on other people. That's another example of a very unhealthy boundary. Now, guys, before we continue into today's dating profile as well, there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, gentlemen. This is a comment that I saw the other day on, I think it was the most recent YouTube video. So I'll get my editor to pull up the comment right now. And this is written by Joseph Brierly. And he says, and this is something to do with boundaries, is the reason why I'm pulling this up. So thank you, Joseph, for leaving this comment. He says, I have actually dealt with a woman that treated me like crap. When I finally got tired of it and ended the relationship, she started telling everybody that I was verbally and physically A-word, even though she was the one who was this towards me. The problem is that society doesn't think that men can be victims of any kind of A-word, sexual, physical, or verbal, which is why it's so easy for women to make these false allegations. It's no wonder that women think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And guys, the reason why I pulled this comment up is because it's so incredibly important to establish boundaries just instantly. Like, as soon as somebody violates them, just get them the hell out of there. Okay, this dude sounds like he was in a relationship, I'm going to guess, for a decent amount of time with a girl who is this particular way. And then when he cuts it off, of course, nobody gives a crap. Nobody believes him, and of course everybody believes the woman by default. Shout out to Amber Turd for doing a little bit of damage to that, but we already know, like, crap's not going to change that much, guys. But yeah, just absolutely disgusting stuff. And this is why it's really important for dudes as well to establish boundaries. Like, nobody teaches men this, by the way. Like, I don't think I've ever heard people sit down and try and teach dudes this, because this is something that comes inherently with having father figures around, right? But of course, in 2022, with everybody just shoving fathers out of the family unit, you're going to see less and less people grow up with boundaries, which is obviously a very sucky thing. Now, guys, let's continue into today's dating profile here. This is actually a bit of a message, so let me pull this up. This is a dating profile of a 30-year-old woman from the United States, okay? And this is her first message. Oh, not first message, but this is a message. Oh, my phone's going off. This is a message that she sent to a dude here, and this is downright scary. And this is what I'm talking about, boundaries. So let me move my character over to the other side here and read this to you guys. So I don't know her name, but she comes in and instantly says, hello, I'm blank. How are you? I have 2 children, ages 1.5 and 4. Let me know if that's a deal breaker for you. Tell me what you are looking for. What are your relationship goals? What's your idea of how a partnership would go with me from day to day? Paint me a mental picture of what your ideal relationship would look like. If we went on a date and you just wanted to send me a gift, what would it be? Just guess. What would our first date look like? Do you think you are prepared to put in the efforts to love me fully? And this guy just down here responds right off the bat. He says, you sound very low maintenance and easy to impress. Guys, if a woman ever sends you a message like this, just block her instantly. Okay, because this is disgusting crap. This woman has 2 children. father just doesn't seem to be in the picture, or if he is, he's not with her, like they're not in a relationship or anything like this. And this woman has the audacity to treat this like a damn interview where the guy is supposed to audition for a role in her life. This is disgusting, guys, and this is what men have to deal with, guys. It's like, why the hell would you ever take this individual seriously? I have absolutely no idea. Dudes are out here unironically marrying these women, and my answer is for what? Like, look how psycho this is, okay? What would our first date look like? Guys, I'm just going to say this. These women are not deserving of dates. Again, why are dudes taking women out on dates? I think I heard someone talk about this recently, right? Which is like, over in Russia, it's like if a woman has a kid, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like if a woman has a kid over there, and she doesn't secure the father, she doesn't lock down the father, it becomes very difficult for her to lock down a man, so she'll typically stay with the dude. I don't know if that's just a rumor or not, but certainly out here in the West, guys, it's just a really disgusting thing where girls will just go out here, have kids to random dudes, and then expect other men to come along and audition for the role of being a stepfather with them. That's just absolutely psychotic to me. And of course, she wants you to just write back an essay to answer what it is that she has to say. Like, why on earth would you ever even reply to this? Paint me a mental picture. How about you get the hell out of here, you disgusting individual? Now, let's jump into today's Reddit story, and then we will wrap up today's episode. So let's take a look at this one. And the reason why I pulled this one up, guys, is, again, this has to do with boundaries, more so from the women's side. But let's take a read. So this is written by an individual here named Successful Camel, who is a 21-year-old woman. And she says, "Why do I only like guys who don't like me? I, a 21-year-old female, have been in 2 significant relationships. They were pretty different in a lot of ways, but very similar in that both of them were kind of alike. Mildly uninterested in me, they were great guys, and I'm still friends with them both." So look at this, okay, right off the bat, she's chasing dudes who aren't into her, and then even after the bedroom fun discontinues, she remains friends with both of them. Interesting. But it was always kind of like a fight to get attention from them. I put in so much effort to get the bare minimum, but I was madly in love with both of them, like fully devoted to them. Now, guys, let's address this, okay? A fight to get attention from them. In the year 2022, gentlemen, the male attention means absolutely nothing. Like, it really doesn't, because girls can go out here, they can jump on Instagram, okay, they can jump on Snapchat, Tinder, literally Facebook, any social media application, they can just jump on and get bucket loads of attention from men. The only thing that makes attention from men valuable is when it's scarce. So when you have all of these dudes out here throwing money at women, asking them out on dates, like, oh, will you be my girlfriend and crap like this, it repulses them. Right? But the dude who's out here and doesn't give her attention, oh, he's the one that she wants. And then they wonder why they end up with, having kids and the dude's not sticking around, which is one reason, right? Or, truth be told, a lot of the times the dudes do want to stick around, or like, why do girls only treat her for bedroom fun? Men are so awful, when in actual fact, it's their selection process the entire damn time. But let's continue. Anyways, I'm now seeing this guy who is like genuinely interested in me. He actually likes me. He calls me beautiful and he texts me back quickly and sometimes is the one to ask me to hang out first. It's really nice, but I almost find it unattractive how into me he is. Like, it's nothing overwhelming. He's like obsessed with me or love bombing me or anything like that. He's just acting the same way I did with my exes. He's simply putting in effort and I'm not used to that. Why am I like this? Can I fix this? I'm really super attracted to this guy. Like, he is kind of my perfect dream guy. I really like him and I really think I want a relationship with him. It just turns me off when he shows genuine interest in me. Guys, don't take it from me, the animated vampire man on the internet. Read this sentence right here. It just turns me off when he shows genuine interest in me. Okay? And this is a girl outlining the fact that this man is a dream man for her. A quote-unquote dream guy. Right? And this is why these girls have no right to complain about dating at all. Because it is their own selfish behavior that keeps them single for the rest of their damn life. I have these girls, guys, if they get into a relation, if they have a kid, right? And then, it should be in such a way, gentlemen, that if these women have a kid, that they get no support from the government, they get no support from the man. Hell, just instantly give the kid to the man if you are this stupid. Right? If you're going out here making decisions like this, you should just not be having kids at all. right? Because you are not attracted to anything stable. You won't have anything stable in your life, and you expect men and the government to make up for these things for you. This is like single mother 101 waiting to happen. Anyway, I know people will be like, well, he's probably just not the right person for you. And even if that's true, I can't spend my whole life getting into relationships where I only like the person if I feel like their personal assistant, because those relationships weren't fulfilling and were never going to last. I want to be with someone who genuinely cares about me, but my weirdo brain won't let me accept that. Wow, what a fantastic way. And guys, again, this article, as it relates to boundaries, this woman right here has absolutely no boundaries. If she's attracted to the dude and the dude just brushes her off and doesn't show her the interest that she thinks that she deserves, she'll do absolutely anything. Like, you ask this girl, gentlemen, you ask her about her personal boundaries and how she's willing to compromise herself, and she'll sit there, she'll tell you that she has no boundaries, right? And that's exactly what we're being told in this Reddit story. Now, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, make sure to drop a comment. Make sure to drop some of your thoughts if you have any in response to today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our newest Fiend Gang member, guys. We are slowly expanding the gang out here, and I'm going to get my editor to put up a graphic right now of his thing. The link will be in the video description, probably in the pinned comment as well. And with all of that being said, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you are interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.